Hello and welcome back with another video of TREKKERPRISE. Well, as I promised in early this week, I'm going to do an episode 1 and episode 2, sort of a premiere episode, a pilot episode breakdown on Star Trek Discovery. Well, after all these months of rumors and speculations and everything, we got to see finally the first 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery. Well, before I jump into any review or sort of reaction on the show, I do have to state I won't be doing a 1 and 2 episode breakdown separately because first off, I saw the 2 episodes together and I can't separate them like, okay, episode 1 and episode 2 in my mind, so I'm gonna see it as a pilot, a double parter from Star Trek Discovery. Obviously we got 2 titles for it, so that makes it a bit more of a 2 episodes, but it's mainly just a 2-parter, so I'm going to do a joint discussion about this first pilot premiere episode. Just early this week I released another video as well regarding to Star Trek Discovery, the premiere. I had a really good friend of mine, Sean, participating in that video. He has a YouTube channel, Trek on YouTube. His channel link is still in the description box below, so feel free to check it out. That was just a kind of a light-hearted first reaction video on Star Trek Discovery. So in this video I'm going to talk about the story itself, and then the characters and the Klingons, and obviously what my overall feeling about the whole show. Well, the story is basically really simple. We got a Federation starship and the edge of the Federation space, and basically they repairing an outpost, but the outpost being damaged. Obviously they find a ship deep into this asteroid field that not with the ship or with anything else they can actually approach. So Michael Burnham volunteers to actually get there with an EV suit, have a quick look and come back to the ship with all the collected data that they have. Well, this goes really well, but on this artifact, on this ship, they actually encounter the Klingon torchbearer, and that's where the problem begins, because the Klingon straight away start to attack Burnham, but Burnham, for self-defense, basically she kills the Klingon. So she drifts away unconscious and she ends up back in the Shenzhou. She goes up to the bridge, tells the captain, okay, we are encountered the Klingons and we should get for help or just fire at will. The captain and lieutenant sort of didn't really believe to her at the first time. Meanwhile, in the Klingon ship, Takuma was talking to how we have to remain Klingons and how we have a plan to actually reunite all the Klingon houses and rebuilding the empire just in a really Klingon way that we never saw. Obviously we could talk about the Klingons at this point because the whole outlook, but we talked a lot about it, so we're just gonna have to wait an explanation from CBS how these Klingons gonna end up in the original series Klingons, or maybe they never, maybe we just open the new timeline, who knows. Obviously Takuma invited the 24 house leaders, well basically 23 house leaders, and they all end up to the edge of the Klingon Federation space. Meanwhile in the ship they have a little discussion, and even the admiral comes in, who actually I hated because he was just like a jerk. He was telling Captain Giorgio and Michael Burnham, like, next time you shouldn't try to mess around with a warrior race that we try to keep ourselves far away from. But then they didn't even know who was the ship is, so why he assumed they knew they are Klingons and they just went there to piss the Klingons off. But that's not how it happened. They didn't know who they were. They went to investigate, and then they found out with a really unfortunate situation who they are actually. Michael actually at one point went down to her quarter and contacted Sarek how to resolve the situation, how to avoid the war within the Klingons if that ever gonna happen, how to scare them off from Federation space. But obviously Sarek said, I can help you, I can tell you what I did, but it's not necessarily will be same on your situation. Obviously Michael, having her past with the Klingons and growing up on Vulcan, she's quite a Vulcan-like female. She assumed, okay, that's logical and that's gonna happen. Because of this, she got into the confrontation with the captain that actually landed. She nerve pinched the captain and she started a little mutiny on the ship on her own. That later on ended up, she's going into the brig, so she was being thrown into the brig. The ships arrived from the Klingons and the Federation ships arrived as well. They got into a battle because basically the Klingons never really wanted to come with peace. The Shenzhou gets really damaged and Michael Burnham basically traps in this force field. So eventually she escapes from this brig and she goes up to the bridge where they have a discussion about how the whole situation that could be solved. And they figure actually it might be helpful to get Takuma itself from the Klingon ship and keep him as, you know, as a prisoner, then just kill him and you know, make a martyr of him, and you know, basically that's gonna piss off the Klingons even more, and they're gonna come and they're gonna, you know, fight with the Federation till death. They transport over to the Klingon ship. Basically they got into a fight. They got into the fight with Takuma and with Walk, and while Burnham fighting with Walk, Captain Georgiou fighting with Takuma. Takuma basically kills Captain Georgiou, and Michael Burnham kills Takuma. And after that we found ourselves in a room, in a dark room with 3 admirals and Michael in a light, having this sort of an interrogation of what happened in the Edge of Federation space. Michael basically plead herself guilty, and that's the end of the episode. Okay, so a couple of things that we have to talk about in this episode, because obviously I just got over the whole story, and as I said, this is episode 1 and 2. There's a lot of things that I really liked in Star Trek Discovery. First of all, the beginning of the episode, when actually they had this little conversation, little banter in the ship. The chemistry between the captain, Lieutenant Saru, and Burnham is a really good, well-established, well-built. I really got to the conclusion when I thought, okay, this is actually Captain Kirk, Spock, and Bones. So it's a really cool balance, and you can actually feel the whole ship itself is a really familiar environment, and they really got together. Fusion between Michael Burnham and Saru is just absolutely astonishing. They're like two rivals, they're like two kids, they competing against each other. So it's a really nice aspect as well. I really liked Captain Georgiou's character as well, because she come across as a really fun, light-hearted person with a little bit of an impatient personality as well, because she always wanted to, can I get a detail on that? Can I get an answer of this? And right now. So that's how I felt, like, okay, she's a cool character, but she just wants everything right now. Well, she kind of reminded me of my first boss. Lieutenant Saru was amazing. I really love his character, and I think he's gonna be a fan favorite. That I'm not even surprised. So, and it was really good to see Michael Burnham characters as well. I think her character was really well presented in the first episode, and I'm really looking forward to get to know her character in the future episodes. A couple of things that didn't really make sense for me is first of all, let's talk about the Katra communication. I didn't really get the fact how they actually been able to establish a two-way communication link from light years away from each other, just having the Katra and Sarek was talking to Burnham while she was in the brig, and Edge of Federation space, and Vulcan is so far away. That didn't really make any sense for me. The holocommunicators also one thing that I didn't really understand, because we have holocommunicators introduced in Star Trek DS9 in towards season 6, which again about 200 years from now, so I didn't really make that much sense why we have this and we didn't have this in the original series. One of the interesting facts as well from Discovery is the Klingons itself. Obviously we talked about the Klingons, how they look, but we have to talk about Walk, the albino, let's say. I found it really interesting having him on Takuma's ships, because Takuma really remain Klingon, and just the old Klingon, and just all the privileged and the honorable, the worthy can actually be in the ship. But there's Walk, a son of none, and he's not worthy by blood, but he's worthy by fate. That was actually quite interesting to get to know his character as well. So I have a feeling he might gonna get the same sort of backstory in Discovery that we got from Michael Burnham. Staying with the Klingons, we got to see a couple of house leaders as well, and we got to see Kor, and his reaction and his behavior really reminded me of the Duras family, and I have a feeling maybe he gonna connect with the Duras family at one point. Maybe it would be interesting to see he has a son and called Duras, and that's gonna be a future Duras family with the Duras sister, and it would be interesting to actually see that part coming along, but at this point we don't really know anything about him as well. But the only thing that we got to know, he's not really happy with the fact that Takuma wanted to rejoin the houses together. In terms of the feel of the show, I think as we got to introduce that before, it's gonna be gritty, darker, and more not as light, not as happy as the previous Star Trek show were. So we got that. We definitely got the fact as it's a bit more grittier, more darker, and nothing like the previous Star Trek series. Watching the first two episodes at the first time, I was kind of like, yeah, that's not gonna be my favorite Star Trek, but it's still Star Trek. You know, I have to watch more episodes, and you have to get more out of the series to actually form an opinion, to start to think, okay, how this will actually affect the later episodes, how this will actually affect the series itself, and you know, what's the whole message of Discovery. Because as we talked with Sean about this earlier, basically we got an extended trailer for the trailers, because that's how it felt watching the first two episodes. Overall, I think the pilot episodes were good, although the one problem that I'm still struggling with is, why did they have to kill all the main characters? I mean, they killed Captain Georgiou, they killed Takuma and Connor as well. And remember a couple of months ago when they started to announce all the cast and crew, they like, okay, Michelle Yeoh, Obi, Chris Obi, and then you have Sam Bartholomew, and then all died. Obviously, as Michael Burnham gonna be the focus point of this series, we're gonna get some flashbacks, I'm pretty sure, from her life on the Shenzhou, and maybe Takuma gonna come back as well as flashbacks of himself. I'm really looking forward to see them, because I really liked Captain Georgiou, and this is gonna be a really interesting couple of next episodes. So overall, I have to say I liked it, but I'm not fully on the I love it side. I think that was my little episode 1 and 2 pilot discussion. As you see, I'm not really in my normal environment as I'm traveling, so I do apologize, and I thank you very much for all the patience that you guys having. From next week, everything gonna go back to the normal time and to the normal schedule. I'll definitely have to announce a new schedule, because Orville went into Thursday and Discovery will air on Mondays in the UK, so I'll make sure I'm gonna do a schedule for the next week as well this week, so there's gonna be an announcement on Twitter and on the channel as well. Obviously at this time character data files gonna move for next week, and obviously there's gonna be one more Orville review tomorrow, plus I'm going to have my usual weekend video on Sunday that actually I have quite a few nice experience to talk about regarding Star Trek, so please stay tuned, because that's gonna be a really interesting video from me. I really hope you're gonna like it, because it's something special that I was really overwhelmed by. Please let me know in the comment section below, what did you think about Discovery? How did you like it? Is there any aspect that you didn't like, or are you looking forward to more? That was the first starter you see. So everything. If you have any opinion or any discussion starter on Discovery, please let me know in the comment section below. And obviously, as usual, don't forget to like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to receive all the geekiness twice a week. And until next time, live long and prosper.